Chicago.
And Jordan?
Jordan,
you're on mute. I'm a good lip reader, but not on Zoom.
Sorry, I apologize. I'm over here in Portland on the West Coast.
Beautiful. Okay, what are we looking at?
Okay, so I have you guys up on the edge just so I can see you guys, but if it's on my screen, let me know. So this is just our pitch deck for Tsunami Protocol. So if you are ready, I'll get started.
All set.
So great. Okay. So Tsunami Protocol is a DeFi data marketplace making waves on Tera. Okay. So anyways, so some use cases of data, you might ask yourself, is data really the new oil? Data really is all around us. And so one of the biggest ways that this can impact us, say if I want to sell my own data, you can use your own health data. So maybe on your Apple Watch or even on the Apple Health app, and you could actually upload that and monetize it. So this is an opportunity, for people in third world countries, not only just for health data, but, for browser history data as well, to really take control of their data and earn a passive income. And that's just one of the use cases that we are looking at. There's Internet of Things, there's sensors, wearables, so there's a lot of possibilities here. Yeah, so the data market economy, just to kind of give you an idea, I won't go into this too much, but back in 2020, the total size of the market for data was around 138 billion. And it's projected to grow to 229 billion by 2025. And something that stood out to me was that back in 2017, 90% of our data had been made in the last 2 years. So from 2015 to 2017, and only 1% of that data had been analyzed. So even if we're only able to analyze, say, 2% of the market, we could still make such a huge impact here. We're still so early. And we're always getting more data. So, yeah. So I think Jordan's going to talk about this.
Some of the data market competitors that we're actually seeing on the market today, at least in terms of centralized market competitors, you would see EBSCO at 2.9 billion in revenue in 2020, ProQuest at 876 million in revenue in 2020, and it was actually recently acquired for 5.3 billion. Snowflake, as some may have heard of, because I believe Warren Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway has taken partial investment, is at a 90.8 billion market cap. And so some of the problems that you see here in data is that in centralized data systems, the data can be at risk of security, is not always private. There's centralized points of failure, and there's a large abundance of data that isn't being harnessed as previously mentioned. And so much of this data is untapped.
So the solution here is Tsunami Protocol, and it's a decentralized Amazon of data. This is really what we want to be thought as. So data really truly is the new oil. It is the next new thing, and I think we're really on the cutting edge here. The future finance is multi-chain and multi-protocol, and we very much hope to be on several different chains in the future. So Tsunami Protocol, the 3 silos that we're really focusing on are our data marketplace and being a data aggregator, and then this data storage solution, which we will talk about all 3 more in a minute. I don't know if you're familiar with Ocean Protocol, but Ocean has been around for a while, and this is actually how we decided that we wanted to build Tsunami. We were inspired by Ocean Protocol in an article that they wrote. So they actually encourage you to fork their data marketplace. And they had several ideas of things that haven't actually been done in data. And so Jordan saw this and said, hey, why don't we build a data marketplace? And so we started throwing around ideas, and we really want Ocean to be our foundation, our building block, and we want to be the crazy cousin. We want to build on top of it and do so much more, and really expand on what they are doing. But we very much hope to partner with them, and we have been in talks with them on partnering and figuring out ways that we can really further the data economy.
So another element that this plays into the data storage silo, so Tsunami storage, would be Anchor protocol integration. So if you've been in DeFi at all, you may or may not have seen Anchor protocol savings for UST with a stable savings rate of around 18 to 20%. And this APY yield can be creatively used for many different things. And so right here on the left, you see Anchor protocol yield will create a 20% APY off of the user's initial deposit for data storage. And what we would do is we would take that yield and then forward that into covering costs for Tsunami storage. And so on the bottom, the text is a little small, so hopefully you can see it on your guys' devices. But basically, Tsunami storage would allow for data publishers, universities, research institutions, maybe even individuals. It could be other protocols, no matter the chain. It could be NFT creators, NFT protocols. The possibilities are endless, really. It would allow them to make a one-time initial deposit to pay for their decentralized data storage and being able to use Tsunami storage and the decentralized data storage layer as opposed to making a recurring payment. So the initial deposit, the yield of the initial deposit would then just cover all recurring costs from that point on, making a very worry-free, your NFT is always backed on, whether it's IPFS or whether it's Arweave or whether it's, there's several different other storage solutions that we can talk about later on.
Data Whale made this really great graphic here, and I think it's our chart. But I think it's really important just to highlight this new asset class that are data tokens. I won't get into it too much, but just to give you an idea, the supply is fixed and it is backed by data. The current market cap is very small, 2.5 million, but the industry valuation is up to 5 trillion. So I think that there is a lot of potential here, and it really has just not been tapped yet. And so there's a lot of different utilities, and just in relation to NFTs and meme coins, I think that there's a lot of potential here, and we're definitely on the edge of it. So some benefits of Tera, and kind of the reason why we want to build natively on Tera, obviously is UST. It has one of the best stable coins. And I don't know if you saw the recent market dump a few days ago, but it was able to hold the peg, and it was doing the best. So having really low fees and easy settlement, the user experience is really next level. And but one of the big things is, obviously the market cap to TVL ratio, but the Tera family has been very welcoming, and they're very great to help out. And we just love being part of this community.
So Tsunami users our three main types of users would be data providers, data consumers, and then there's also researchers and universities, which can also be data providers or data consumers, as we've found out when we were talking to several different universities on potentials for a pilot program. So a data provider would publish their data onto the Tsunami marketplace, or it would be onto one of the marketplaces that we're aggregating onto Tsunami. So that could be Ocean Protocol, that could be Streamer. And as they publish the data, typically, usually, so with Ocean Protocol, there's a data token that's published. And it's almost like an NFT in a sense, but it's fungible because there's multiple of them. So it's more closely related to, say, an ERC20 token. And what's backing that token is the data set itself. So then you would use that data token to be able to access the data set underlying it. Or if you wanted to speculate with that data token and do other things with it, it would behave just like any other crypto. And data consumers or speculators would be on the consuming side. But like I said before, these can overlap.
So we will have our WAVY token. So we will be able to use the WAVY token to buy and sell data sets. And the governance and utility token is what it will mainly be. But it will use it to stake to earn a share of the protocol revenue, and then also be able to, in the future, vote on proposals.
And so over here, we have this nifty little diagram. If you guys want to go over this diagram, we can. But I mean, for me to walk you through this whole diagram, it would probably take a while. But basically, you have the Tsunami protocol front end in the middle, and on the left are basically all of the back ends for data markets. So we would have our own native data market for Tsunami protocol, and there's our data storage layer on the bottom, and that could be, you know, Skynet, Arweave, Filecoin. We've actually considered possibly offering multiple options for data storage, depending on the need of the data publisher. And then up top, as you can see, Ocean Protocol, we would aggregate their data sets as well. That would help, one, bootstrap our platform, and as well as, you know, it's almost like we would basically be the 1 inch of data. So 1 inch would aggregate, you know, tokens, ERC20 tokens from, you say, Uniswap, SushiSwap, and whatnot, and use all the different types of liquidity sources. Tsunami protocol would be like a one-stop shop data center where, hey, if you want to get e-commerce data from one data marketplace on Ocean, or if you want to get another e-commerce data set from, say, Streamer, you would be able to access both of those data sets. And you could do all of this with, so far, the Tera Station wallet is how we planned it out. But eventually we would like to go multi-chain and multi-protocol. And by multi-chain, that way anyone could access it with, no matter the chain that they're on, with any sort of wallet.
That's a fantastic flow out there, but I still have to let you know that we have ended the last 3 minutes. So maybe you would want to cover the core. I'd love to know more about the team as well while we're discussing everything. What brings you to data? Talk so much about data. What has been your background? And then most of all, where do you plan to get that data? Because comparing yourself to 1 inch is a different story. You know, Ethereum tokens are out there. They're decentralized by nature. They're just available. You can simply put up a contract and boom, you're up with not just one token, but basically the entire ecosystem. Even if they're not, you know, in favor of, let's say for whatever reason for you to use it, but you can still list them, right? In data, that's not the case, however. And then I would also want to cover, I mean, I know the time is wouldn't allow you to, but I probably might want to address, how would you address the GDPR requirements around that? Because they're very geographically binding. So you just can't, you know, move it to storage a Filecoin or whatever you're talking about. You can't move European data outside of geographical boundaries. So, I mean, yeah, try and cover all of that. So team, marketing, and execution, and compliance, sorry.
Sure. So in terms of Ocean Protocol and Streamer, so far they are both decentralized data marketplaces. And so as far as we know, they are all open source. They are all on the, you know, within DeFi and within the cryptocurrency space. As further than that, I'll be honest, I don't know much else other than that. But we've talked with the Ocean Protocol team, and they're open to this sort of thing of aggregating their data sets and putting their data sets and utilizing them for our platform. We aren't necessarily stealing or taking their data sets. It's just the same way like 1 inch, like we would just route their data set listings onto our platform, and users would essentially by proxy be able to access their data sets, but with our front end. And so it's still their data sets. It's still Ocean's data sets. It's still Streamer's data sets. It's still their marketplace, essentially. And yeah, so we aren't.
And they would get a fee too, just so you know, like there are fees that they would reap the benefits as well. So it's not just that like we're benefiting and they're not. So, and then I know you asked about our team as well. So Jordan and I are the co-founders. I have a background in finance and international business, and I was in wealth management for a while. And then my day job is in commercial property insurance. I'm an underwriter. So, and then, Jordan, I can let him kind of go about him, but we also have two really great developers, a front end and a back end, but we are keeping our team pretty lean.
So we're keeping the team lean, but we are open to looking for more talent, of course. I think that's something eventually we would, bolster as we get more funding and more grants and whatnot. And so my background is I've been involved in crypto as both an investor, and then more in the last 2 years, I've been very involved working in the space for a small fund. And so I've just been able to see, protocols and projects going from ground zero to and helping them grow. And so it's actually kind of cool seeing how the space can develop and how we were able to take part in it. And I've just been a big fan of Ocean Protocol themselves, and what they were bringing to the table. And they would constantly put out different articles, and different teams have acted upon what they were building using Ocean Protocol as infrastructure and foundation. And so essentially they encourage other projects to take their infrastructure and foundation and see what they can build with it. And they have, sometimes grants and even advising, and they're very strong and forthcoming on being open source and whatnot. And so is Streamer. And so we would probably explore a conversation with them as well. We have future plans also as well to build onto Substrate. So Polkadot and Kusama. We were talking with the Aster and Cheetah network team, and they want us to apply to their Builders program. And they said that because of the result of the last hackathon and what was going on, and even though we're still early stage, that they said we're pretty much a shoe-in as we apply. So it's really cool that we would be essentially a front end for other protocols, or either NFT projects, or maybe data providers. So there's like I said, there's 3 different silos. We have the data market, the data aggregator, and they're effectively the same thing. And then there's the data storage layer, and that helps power our data market. But the data storage, Tsunami storage, can actually power, say, an NFT project, for example. So say an NFT creator or an NFT protocol wants to, mint their NFTs, but they want to store it on, say Filecoin or IPFS. But they don't want to make a recurring payment to keep those files or images stored within Filecoin. And so by storing it with us on Tsunami Storage, we would be able to utilize Anchor's yield. And that way they can just make a one-time deposit, and essentially, boom, then their subscription and all their costs for storing their image or their JPEG or their file for their NFT is all covered. Hopefully that answers anything. Is there anything if there's anything that we missed, please feel free to ask.
Game changer, I should say, in these businesses, but that's not impossible to solve. So I wouldn't, dive deep with that. And you're actually doing great as a startup. These are some aspects that you're organically trained as you evolve as in startup and reach further stages with the right advisory, consultation, and exposure. I'm sure you'll be able to do all of that. And it seems like you have support from these major players